The Tazari command ship floated silently in orbit, far above the battlefield. Inside, the alien generals paced in silence. Their faces were pale, their long fingers trembling. Dozens of screens showed footage from the valley below. Burning armor, destroyed drones, and human soldiers moving like ghosts through smoke. "This is not a battle," one general whispered. "This is a message." "They are too wild," said another. "They do not follow rules. They are not supposed to survive." But the humans were surviving. Down on the planet, inside a cracked cave hidden by trees and dust, Captain Rayna and her team sat in a circle. There were only 12 of them left now, but they were stronger than ever. They had stolen Kanar weapons, broken open alien drones, and made their own tools from scrap. Rayna stood over a map made from pieces of old armor. "The Kanar are angry now. They'll come back in full force." "They'll want revenge," Cole said. "Good," Rayna replied. "Let them come. It's our turn to set the trap." The humans had learned something the Tazari didn't expect. The Kanar were fearless, but predictable. They always moved fast, always attacked in straight lines, and trusted their scanners too much. Rayna had a plan. "We make them think we're running," she explained. "We leave false trails, broken gear, fake signals, then we lead them right into the canyon." Mira tilted her head. "The canyon with the sharp cliffs?" Rayna nodded. "And the loose rocks, and the fuel cells we buried yesterday." The team smiled. All day, they worked in silence. They dragged pieces of metal across the dirt to look like tank tracks. They planted empty food packs, fake blood, and broken helmets. They sent out emergency signals in a loop. "Mayday, we are falling back." Then they waited. By evening, the Kanar came. 3 full squads. Big, armored, angry. Their ships flew low. Their scanners followed the false trails perfectly. They saw everything the humans wanted them to see. "They are weak," one Kanar captain growled. "They are running." The trap was working. Rayna and her team hid inside the canyon, pressed against the walls. Above them were boulders held by thin wires. Below, hidden in the rocks, were the stolen alien fuel cells. "They're entering the kill zone," Cole whispered. "Wait," Rayna said, her eyes fixed on the ridge. "Not yet." The Kanar marched closer, deeper into the canyon, completely, blind to what was coming. They laughed, confident. They had better weapons, stronger armor, more soldiers. Then a small beep sounded in Rayna's ear. Click. She pressed the detonator. The canyon shook like thunder. Rocks fell from above, smashing the enemy's front lines. Explosions lit up the canyon walls, sending fire and dust into the sky. The air turned orange. Kanar soldiers screamed, running in every direction, but they had nowhere to go. Rayna's team attacked from both sides. Cole tossed a smoke bomb into the middle of the chaos. Mira and Dax fired stolen plasma rifles. Rayna ran down the canyon wall, using a rope and landing right behind 2 confused Kanar. She didn't give them time to turn around. Zap, zap, they fell. Within 5 minutes, the canyon turned into a graveyard. Rayna stood at the center, breathing. Heavy. Her suit was torn, her face bruised, but her eyes burned with fire. Around her, her team gathered, alive and victorious. "They walked right into it," Mira said, shaking her head. "They thought we'd run," Dax added. "But we were waiting." Cole laughed and kicked a smoking alien helmet. "Now they know how we fight." Rayna looked up at the sky. Somewhere above, the Tazari were watching. She didn't have proof, but she could feel it. "Let them watch," she said. "Let the whole galaxy see what happens when you give humans trash and try to send us to die." That night they didn't hide. They made a fire. They sat in the open, cleaning weapons, treating wounds, and laughing softly. There was no fear in their eyes now, only purpose. From orbit, the Tazari generals watched in silence. One slammed his hand on the table. "We should destroy them. Use orbital strikes." "No," another said. "We can't. Not yet. The Council is watching. They wanted to see if humans could be controlled." "And now?" The other general's voice was low. "Now, they are afraid." The sky looked calm, but something dangerous was coming. Captain Rayna stood on a tall ridge, watching black clouds move across the stars. Her hand rested on a stolen Kanar rifle. The air was too quiet. No birds. No wind. Just silence. Behind her, Cole walked up, his face dirty and tired. "You feel it too?" Rayna nodded. "They're planning something big." The humans had beaten 3 alien squads in a row. They had turned junk into traps, used old parts to build weapons, and outsmarted an army 10 times stronger. But that made the Tazari nervous. And nervous enemies were always the most dangerous. Inside the Tazari ship, high above the planet, the alien generals watched Earth soldiers again. "They should be dead," one said. "They were not trained for this. They were not given real weapons," another added. "They are not following our plan." One general turned to a dark screen. He pressed his finger on a flashing button. A cold voice answered. "Yes, Commander?" "Send the Skyfire." The next day, the humans heard a strange sound. Not ships, not bombs, something else. Rayna stood outside the cave, looking up. A thin line of silver light moved across the clouds like a knife cutting the sky. Then the thunder came. Boom! The mountain behind them exploded. Fire rained from above. Dust and flames swallowed trees and rocks. Animals ran. The ground shook. It was not an attack. It was a warning. "They're using orbital strikes now," Cole said, coughing through the smoke. "They're trying to scare us," Mira added. Rayna stared at the fire on the ridge. "Then it's working, but not the way they think." She walked back into the cave and gathered her team. "They don't want to fight us face to face anymore," she said. "They've seen what we can do with metal, wire, and fire." Dax leaned forward. "So what's the plan?" "Make them chase us into the old ruins," Rayna said. "The deep place, underground." Cole raised an eyebrow. "You mean the broken Tazari base? The one they abandoned?" Rayna smiled. "Exactly. We turn their own tech against them." That night, under cover of darkness, the humans moved fast. They avoided drones and patrols, staying in the shadows, slipping through the forest like ghosts. They reached the ruins before sunrise. The place was massive, an old alien research station, half buried in dirt and time. Steel doors, broken lights, long tunnels full of dust and silence. No one had stepped inside for years. "Why did they leave it?" Mira asked. "No one knows," Rayna said. "But I think we're going to make them regret it." They found working power cells, old defense systems, laser gates, and broken robots. Cole fixed 2 drones and sent them flying through the tunnels. Dax rigged the main hallway with motion traps. Rayna studied the maps on the control panel and started setting up ambush points. "They'll come looking for us," she said. "They'll think we're hiding, but we're building something." Outside the ruins, the sky lit up again. Tazari dropships landed with a roar. This time, they didn't send the Kanar. They sent something worse. Black armored enforcers. Silent. Tall, full-body metal suits, machines with voices. "They brought machines to fight us," Cole whispered. "How do we fight machines?" Rayna's answer was calm, with fire and wire, like always. The machines came fast. They marched into the ruins like shadows. No fear, no sound, no mercy, but the humans were ready. The first trap was a wall collapse. Dax triggered it just as the enforcers passed under the support beams. The ceiling dropped, crushing 3 of them. The second trap used hacked energy gates. When the machines stepped inside the hallway, Mira turned on the power. Blue light flashed. Sparks flew. 2 more machines fell, their circuits burning. The third wave got past the traps. Rayna and her team waited in the central chamber, hidden behind walls and broken consoles. The air was tense. Cole wiped sweat from his face. Dax counted down with his fingers. 3, 2, 1. They attacked. Rayna threw an old power core like a grenade. It exploded in the middle of the chamber, throwing the machines off balance. Mira used a hacked robot arm as a whip, wrapping it around a machine's neck. Cole fired a stolen plasma rifle until it hissed dry. Even as the machines fought back, the humans didn't break. They moved like lightning. They fought like fire. When it was over, the ruins were full of broken metal and silence. The humans stood, tired and bleeding but alive. Rayna looked up at the ceiling, eyes burning. "They think they rule the sky," she said. "But we own the ground." High above, in the Tazari command ship, the generals stared in horror. They should not be able to fight like this. They are not supposed to win. They were given nothing. A silent alarm began to flash. The humans had hacked into one of the orbital drones. "They are learning," one general whispered. "They are becoming dangerous." "No," another said, voice shaking. "They already are." The sky above Earth was no longer calm. It was full of fire, light, and fear. Captain Rayna stood on a rocky cliff, her eyes fixed on the dark shape in the clouds. A massive Tazari command ship had arrived. Bigger than anything humans had seen before. Long, sharp, and humming with deadly energy. "They're not playing anymore," Cole said behind her. "They want to end this war," Mira added quietly. Rayna nodded. "Then we end it too. On our terms." Below the cliff, human fighters gathered in the valley. Some held rusted alien rifles. Others had homemade weapons built from scrap, old engines, and wires. Farmers, engineers, ex-soldiers, men and women who had learned to fight without the tools of war. Now they stood ready to fight for Earth. One last time. Inside the Gasser, Tazari ship, the alien generals stood around a tall table, staring at a large screen. "This is our final strike," one of them said. "They must fall." "The humans have stolen our weapons, hacked our drones, destroyed our elite forces," another replied. "We cannot allow them to rise. Target their leaders, destroy the valley." Outside the ship, dozens of fighter drones launched. Silver streaks across the sky. Each one carried heavy plasma bombs, strong enough to turn mountains into dust. The humans saw them coming. Rayna raised her hand. "Positions!" Cole, Mira, and Dax ran to their posts. Dax powered up the last EMP launcher, built from a crashed alien engine. Mira activated the shield wall made from old tech. Cole looked through his stolen drone controller, trying to break into the incoming swarm. Then the sky lit up. The first wave came in fast, dozens of small, round drones flying low. Rayna shouted into her comms. "Now!" Dax fired the EMP. A loud bang echoed through the valley. Blue energy cracked in the air. 10 drones dropped like stones. "Hit another!" Rayna yelled. The second launcher failed. Then Mira's shield wall glowed bright red as plasma bombs hit. The energy flickered, then held. Barely. "They're testing our limits," Mira said through clenched teeth. "They'll find out we don't have any," Rayna replied. But then something strange happened. The drone swarm stopped. They hovered. In the air, spinning slowly. No more attacks, no more bombs. Cole stared at his screen. "Wait. I think I'm in." "What?" Rayna asked. "I hacked them. I have control of the drones." Rayna's eyes widened. "Can you send them back?" Cole smiled slowly. "Better." High above, the Tazari generals leaned in toward the screen. Their weapons were locked. Their attack was ready. Then one of the generals gasped. "The drones were turning. They've been reversed," one shouted. "They're flying back to us. They're..." Before he could finish, the first explosion hit the side of the Tazari command ship. Then another. And another. The ship rocked. Fire burst from the engines. Warning lights flashed across every wall. In the valley, humans watched the sky light up with falling wreckage. The ship began to tilt, losing control. "They're going down!" Dax shouted. Rayna stared as the mighty Tazari flagship burned. The humans cheered. Some cried. Others simply stood in shock. They had done it. They had won. But Rayna wasn't smiling. "Not yet. They'll come back one day," she said. "With better plans, stronger weapons." Mira nodded. "What do we do then?" Rayna looked at the people around her. Humans with scars, dirt, and hearts full of fire. "We'll fight again," she said. "And next time, we won't need their tech." Weeks later, a message was sent from Earth. Not in fear, not asking for peace, but a warning. "To any who think humans are weak, think again. You gave us junk. You gave us lies. You tried to control us, but we are not machines. We are not your pawns. We are human. We learn. We adapt. And when pushed, we fight. In a far part of the galaxy, other alien races watched. The footage. They saw humans turning junk into victory. They saw Earth's people rise from dirt and fire. And they whispered one word in fear. Humans. The sky cracked open like paper torn by a giant hand. Light poured down from the clouds, not from the sun, but from something cold and silver. People looked up from cities, farms, oceans. Everyone stopped breathing for a second. The first alien ship had arrived. It hovered above Earth, calm and still. Then more ships followed. Big, smooth, floating like they owned the sky. No weapons were fired. No cities were destroyed. Instead, a voice echoed in all languages, across every screen, every speaker. We are the Tazari Empire. We bring peace. We bring alliance. Earth has been chosen to join the intergalactic peace force. People didn't know what to think. Some were happy. Some were scared. But when the aliens landed, they came with smiles. Tall, thin creatures with shiny suits, glowing eyes, and voices that sounded like music. They handed over weapons, guns, tanks, missiles, armor. All looked powerful, strange, alien. But when Earth's engineers and soldiers examined the weapons, something felt wrong. "These weapons are garbage," whispered Sergeant Cole, holding a rifle with a cracked energy core. "This stuff's outdated, like tech from 100 years ago." Captain Rayna held a helmet that didn't fit any human head. "They gave us junk." Still, Earth's leaders smiled in front of cameras. "We are honored," they said. "We are ready to defend peace in the galaxy." Then came the mission. A fleet of human soldiers was sent to a small planet near the Tazari border. The Tazari said it was a training mission. The enemy was a rebel alien group called the Kanar. According to the Tazari, they were dangerous, but weak. But when Rayna's team arrived, they saw the truth. The Kanar were not weak. Their ships were fast. Their weapons could burn through steel. Their warriors moved like shadows and fought like monsters. "Why did they send us here with broken guns?" Rayna asked, hiding behind a rock while plasma fire lit up the sky. "We were never meant to win," Cole replied. "They want us dead." Rayna's hands shook, but not with fear, with anger. Her team was dying. One squad lost, another cut off. The old tank they were supposed to use exploded after 10 seconds of use. Their comms systems jammed. The helmets melted from heat. The Tazari had lied. But humans were not the kind to sit and die. Rayna gathered her remaining soldiers, only 15 of them. "We can't use their weapons, but we can use what we know." "What do we have?" Cole asked. "Old tactics," she said. "We've fought with worse. Back on Earth, we didn't always have lasers. We had dirt. We had fire. We had trickery. We make them think we're weak. Then we hit them hard." That night, Rayna's team moved quietly. They used mirrors to reflect the Kanar sensors. They set traps with explosive fuel cells. They jammed the enemy's drones using static from broken radios. And most importantly, they didn't fight like aliens. They fought like humans. When the Kanar came to finish them, they found silence, then fire, then explosions. A group of humans with no high-tech gear had just taken down an elite Kanar scout force. On the orbiting Tazari ship, 2 alien generals watched the footage. "How are they alive?" one asked. "They were supposed to fail," the other replied. "We gave them outdated weapons. Their kind should not adapt so quickly." But the screen showed something different. Rayna's face, bloodied and tired, appeared on a soldier's helmet cam. She stood beside her team, wounded but alive, and in her hand, she held a Kanar rifle, freshly stolen from their fallen enemies. She looked into the camera and said one word: "Thanks." The Tazari generals didn't smile anymore. Back on the planet, Rayna led her team to an old cave. It was dark, wet, cold, but safe. They rested for 1 hour, then began planning. "Next time," she said, pointing at a map scratched in the dirt, "we take their base, and we do it with nothing but trash and guts." Cole smiled. "You sound like a general already." "I don't want to be a general," she replied. "I just want to win." Outside, alien satellites passed silently through the clouds, watching, listening. The Tazari still thought they were in control, but they didn't understand what they had started. They had given humans junk, but humans were building something else. Revenge. The alien ship hovered above the valley like a giant, angry bird. Its engines hummed low, shaking the rocks. It had cannons, shields, and scanners that could see through mountains. Inside, the Kanar soldiers waited, armored from head to toe. Their orders were simple: destroy the humans. But Captain Rayna wasn't afraid. She sat in the shadows of a broken shuttle, drawing lines in the dirt with a stick. Around her, the last 15 soldiers of her team crouched low, watching and listening. The alien ship was close now. Too close. They think we're scared, Rayna whispered. They think we're hiding. We are hiding, Cole muttered. Rayna looked up. Only until they walk into our trap. The weapons the Tazari had given them were useless. Half-broken guns, thin armor, scanners that showed the wrong direction. But Rayna's team had learned to stop depending on them. They used their hands, their eyes, and their earthborn instincts. Earlier that day, the team had worked fast. They rolled old fuel tanks into the valley and buried them under rocks. They stacked crates of broken ammo in a circle, pretending it was a base. Then they sent out false radio messages, just enough for the enemy to hear. The Kanar were smart, but they weren't human smart. Now, from behind the hills, the enemy ship lowered slowly, preparing to land. Positions, Rayna said. Her team split up. Cole crawled through dry grass with an old rocket tube. Mira and Dax climbed into a tree, holding ropes and firebombs. The others waited with sharp metal scraps tied to long poles. The ship landed with a deep thud. Its doors opened. 20 Kanar soldiers walked out, big, fast, armed with plasma guns. Their armor glowed red, and their eyes scanned for targets. One of them kicked a human helmet lying in the dirt. "They're gone," he growled. "Cowards." Ran, but the ground beneath his feet was not just dirt, it was death. Rayna pressed a broken detonator. Boom! The hidden fuel tanks exploded, sending rocks and fire into the air. 4 Kanar soldiers flew backward, their bodies smoking. The others screamed, confused, trying to return fire, but there was no enemy in sight. Then, the real fight began. Cole popped up from behind a wrecked engine and fired his old rocket. It missed, but it hit a tree above the Kanar, dropping branches and flames. Mira and Dax threw their firebombs from the tree, setting alien armor on fire. The enemy shot back, but the humans had already moved. Rayna ran through the smoke like a ghost. She used a metal pipe like a sword, smashing one Kanar's helmet. Another charged her, but she slipped behind him and pulled a wire, wrapping it around his legs, dropping him to the ground. "Keep moving," she shouted. The humans never stopped moving. They didn't stand in the open and shoot. They didn't wait to die. They fought with tricks, with speed, with the kind of madness that only Earth could grow. By the time the smoke cleared, 12 Kanar were dead. 5 ran back into their ship, bleeding and scared. The humans didn't chase. They had already won. Inside the Tazari command ship, far above the battlefield, the alien generals watched in silence. "These results cannot be correct," one said, staring at the screen. "They had no working weapons. They used gravity," the other said slowly, "and fire, and sharp metal. Who fights with such things? Humans." Back in the valley, Rayna checked on her team. 3 were wounded, but alive. 1 had a burn. Another had a broken arm, but all were smiling. "We beat them," Mira said, sitting on a rock. "With garbage." "No," Rayna replied. "We beat them with our minds." Cole walked up, carrying a Kanar rifle. "Still want to keep playing with sticks?" Rayna took the rifle and checked its power cell. It was full. "No. We'll take their toys now, but we'll still fight like Earth." The sun began to rise behind the mountains. Smoke curled into the air. Alien blood stained the rocks. Rayna stood, tall. "They wanted to see how we fight," she said. "Now they've seen it." She didn't know the whole galaxy was watching. Not yet. But she could feel something had changed. Something big. The Tazari thought they were the ones in control. They thought humans would die fast. But humans had just shown them something terrifying. They didn't need good weapons. They were the weapon.